What's up, Newmans? Welcome back to another episode. Today's topic of discussion will be the connection between our limitations or sufferings and our being or existence. Our faith and hope are constantly being tested, obviously, in different ways and different levels. Everyone is going to experience sufferings throughout their lives. It's inevitable. Some are a result of the consequences of our own or others' actions and decisions. Some are unjust and unfair, and some stem from just damned bad luck. The idea that life is suffering is evident in our mere existence. It is the revelation of our fragility of being, and we are intrinsically fragile in every aspect of our holistic representation, mentally, physically, and spiritually. We can be damaged, broken, and we are all subject to the depredations of loss. Now, the purpose of me saying this is not to understate or downplay the sufferings that we all endure. I understand that people suffer differently and from different things as well. My intention, rather, is to focus on the fact that existence and limitation are inextricably linked. Without limitation, if we are already everything and everywhere, always, there is nowhere to go and nothing to become. For example, a superhero who can do anything and has no limitation and no weaknesses isn't really a hero at all. They are nothing in specific, so they are nothing in general. No limitation, no story, and no story, no existence. The concept of being requires limitation. Perhaps this is because being also requires becoming. And to become is to become something more, or at least something different. But sometimes, the sufferings caused by such limitations can be extreme. A dream may collapse, a marriage ends, or a family member is struck down by a debilitating disease. Feeling overwhelmed during periods of crisis is not uncommon because the demands of everyday life don't stop. Everything that we always do still needs to be done, and unfortunately, suffering a blow by a catastrophe doesn't change that. So how do we manage? Now, a very extreme and dire conclusion or response some may have is that it would be better to not be at all. But there's a terrible catch to this conclusion. Actions and thoughts in keeping with it only serve to make a situation even worse. Hating life, despising it, as bad as it may be, merely serves to make life itself unbearably worse. And there is no genuine protest or goodness in that. Also, when our sufferings reveal themselves as extreme or even intolerable, the act of negative overthinking ultimately collapses in on itself and only leads to an endless and dark abyss. So what is a better alternative? A coping mechanism that we often use when we are overwhelmed by crises is we shorten our time frame. It gets harder to think about the next month, sometimes the next week, or even tomorrow, because what's happening right now is just too damn overwhelming. So we cut our time frame back until we can cope with it. And if it's not the next week we see how to get through, then it's the next day. And if it's not the next day, then it's the next hour. A way to help with this is to set aside some time every day to talk and think about the crisis and how it should be managed. By doing this, we are not attempting to not think about it at all. That would only make us think about the crisis even more. We need to find a way to limit its effect, or we will exhaust ourselves and everything will spiral downwards, which is not helpful. When worries associated with the crisis arise at other times, which will happen, it's crucial that we remind ourselves that we will think them through during the allotted times that we allow ourselves to. It's also important to not schedule our time to think during the evening or night, or else we won't be able to sleep, which once again spirals everything down rapidly. We can make much better plans when the sun is shining. And once we have a set plan, we have to be careful with it. We must set the things we can control in order, repair what is in disorder, and make what is already good better. Another important idea is that we have to remain alert when we are suffering. We have to be alert to the beauty in life, the unexpected beauty of our being in general. Among the darkness of our existence, when things are really bad, we have to deliberately look for and notice the little bits of light and see where things are still beautiful. Pet a dog or cat when you see one. Jam out to some rad music. Go out for a walk when the sun's shining. Whatever gives you that little bit of extra joy. Noticing the beauty within the darkness lets us become ever more slightly grateful, and maybe even helps us get through those really dark times. But sometimes it can't, and that's okay too, because maybe then our sufferings are just tragic and not absolute hell. And we can do that, even in the worst situations. We can make our sufferings only tragic and not something that is absolutely unbearable. If we don't attempt to make terrible things even worse than they already are, then perhaps we can tolerate the necessary sufferings and limitations of our being. We don't have to be in love with every shortcoming and merely accept them all. And we shouldn't stop trying to make life better, nor should we just let suffering be. We as humans are a lot tougher than we realize. We can survive great pain and loss. We shouldn't deny or fight against our limitations, but understand them and see the beauty that is in being. That is how we persevere. If we lose that, then we are truly lost. So that sums up today's video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see future related content. I put out videos weekly. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave it in the comment section below or inbox me personally. You can also find links to my email, Facebook, and Instagram in the About section of this channel. And as always, thanks for watching, humans. I'll see you in the next one.